What are you doing there, Yarn Bally?
Looking for some scraps for our project today.
What are we working on?
We're going to make some little yarn wrapped figures, wooden figures.
Fun.
So, gotta find all my scraps.
Cool.
Oh,
Wow, that's a whole lot of scrap.
yeah. Today on A Whole Lot of Craft, we're going to use scraps to wrap up some wooden figures and make some really fun accessories for your home or for packages or whatever you might like to use them for. Join us. Hello, I'm Julia.
And I'm Sue.
And this is A Whole Lot of Craft.
Whole lot of craft.
Yeah, and it is February, post Valentine's Day, the dregs of the season.
Yes. Do you have anything planned for Leap Day?
No, I forgot it was leap year.
I know, they added one extra day.
Oh goodness. I always, people are like, yeah, I know your birthday's in March, right?
Yes.
I always say March is the longest month ever.
I know, a lot of people say they hate March.
But February's been kind of long this year. There hasn't been a lot of snow and there hasn't been a lot of sun.
But there's been a lot of cold.
Yeah, it has been very cold. So it'll be good.
Today feels like frigid to me. I don't know what it is. I feel like a wimp. Like I just can't even handle going outside today.
Good thing we have the heater on.
Yes.
It's toasty warm in here.
And some crafting to keep us warm.
Yeah, my extra sweater. So, have you been working on anything? Well, let's talk about, I guess, first our stash along. Have you been working on anything for that?
I have not. Just work and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
But
this
hopefully
doesn't count as stash?
Well, I suppose it could. I mean, it's a project I started. This is actually from a class that I just took a week ago
Okay.
with an artist named Gail Scudera, and she's from Maine, and she actually has she does woven photo collage,
Okay.
and she has a display at the college here at Lafayette College right now. And so she ran a class that is somewhat similar to what she does, and so it was a lot of fun.
It looks really neat.
Because I have been working very hard, so it was nice to just take a break.
Yeah.
So the short of it is, I was trying to explain this to a friend, and she was like, "What? I'm so confused." There are two sheets here that are photocopies of something.
Mm-hmm.
So one you can see is like an architectural one,
Mm-hmm.
and one is more of like a graphic. They pencil drew it.
Okay.
And then we had to pick a pattern, and these are different weavers patterns. This is tiny here, but they're different weavers patterns. And so what we did was we drew a grid, and from the grid we used the weavers patterns to cut out pieces of magazine and glue it onto these black and white images.
Okay, so it looks woven, but that part's not really.
Right. So
Okay.
it looks woven. It has this pattern. If you look.
Yeah.
It has this pattern with the magazine pieces, and then we cut, so each block, which was, an inch, we cut it in half. So now we made the blocks smaller, so you'll see like this block here is cut in half,
Right.
and this was the magazine piece I had put on it.
Interesting.
And then we we took another piece of paper, and she asked us to do something very different, like if your original black and whites were very light, get something very dark, or vice versa. And then we wove them using this pattern.
Wow.
So I used also some yarn in there.
Cool.
And then eventually, of course, as most projects for me, this is not done. I haven't woven the part down here yet because we ran out of time in the class. But eventually you weave it, and then she gave us other things to make a frame around it and embellish it.
Okay.
So
Well, that's really neat.
it was really interesting.
It looks like you have some. Is this your fabric then that you brought with you, or did she just have things there?
She had a lot of things there. We could bring stuff. I brought this yarn, and I borrowed that from someone else, and so we just there was a whole bunch of stuff there. We also had a point where we colored things on it as well.
Yeah.
So it was a multi-step artistic process.
Another way of weaving and using. I mean, I would like to find different ways to use fiber because I've got so much of it, you know, and that's really cool that you could use the multimedia. You're very good at multimedia.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
I don't think that way. My head doesn't say, oh, just go get this paper and stick it together with this thing and it'll look really cool.
I think it's a process, and having taken a couple classes in that, you start to be freed by the constraints of, like, this is what weaving means. Because in fact, she uses only paper, and then she uses embellishments around, although she does sew buttons onto some of her stuff. And when I started using the thread, because I liked the pink matching up, and she came over and she said, "Oh, you're doing a very traditional weaving with thread." And she was very personable and very much, the woman across from me did not follow any of the directions whatsoever at all. And she would just be like, "Wow, you're just taking this in a completely different direction." Like, she wasn't offended or anything. She just is like, "You're just," but the woman absolutely did not follow the directions. That's cool. Which is fine, you know, it's an art class. So I actually, when I was doing it, my pattern was much harder than I realized. I couldn't wrap my head around it. One of the hard parts was this pattern is 8 blocks long, but this is actually 10 blocks long. So you had to remember that when you got to block 8, the pattern repeated. So you had to go 1, 2, or 9, 10. And so it was hard when I was trying to work this way to, where am I? What am I doing? And so it was quite the brain exercise as well. And so when I got home, I was like, okay, whatever, this is dumb. And I put it away. And I had it covered with this piece of paper so I could bring it home because I have other pieces to finish it. And the next day I opened it up and I was like, that's actually kind of pretty. But I was so intense while I was doing it that I was kind of losing my mind.
Well, I like it that it's almost rainbow. Did you mean to do that?
I was going for something which didn't really work out that way, but like I was trying to do like a solid color that gets into busier. And doing it this way. So there was the green that went into like the blues and purples, and then the reds and oranges that kind of went over this way. And actually, right in the middle here, there's a little hummingbird. And then there was a flower. Where did the flower go? It's on here somewhere. And that was actually the original, what I started with and what I was going to put sort of in the middle. But and it actually made me realize that when you read an artist statement and they say something like, I've been influenced by the flowers in Vienna and this and that, and you're like, what? Like, I don't see that at all. I was like, okay, I get it now, because that's what I started with. But that's not, like, this has nothing to do with a hummingbird and a flower.
It doesn't look like a hummingbird, but the color is there.
But the color sort of is there. So I tried to do a color sort of thing, but I don't know.
Well, it's cool.
It is what it is. So.
It reminds me a little bit of those, like, you see that when they put the sticks in the ground and they weave with twine and wood and burlap and all kinds of, like, the really big weaving. That's what this kind of reminds me of. It's so free form, and yet it's smaller, so you can have it inside and not take over your room. That's cool.
So anyway, at some point I will finish it. I really do want to finish it, so I'm hoping that will be a spring project for me.
Oh, very nice.
So I worked on that, and the other thing I've been working on, which it's to me this is crafty. I don't know if other people would find it crafty, but I don't have everything glued down yet on this. I gotta turn it around so you can see it.
We're gonna stand it up.
I always like to bring things that are too big for the screen. But we have, it's a trifold for our Seeing Eye group.
Yeah, we can't open it up yet either.
Ta-da! But actually the reason I brought this, so I've been working on this, my son did this actually as a science fair project last year, and I modified it so that we can take this when we go to different events. But the cool thing that I've been working on, I forgot to bring those papers, but anyway, is I found a Braille font.
Oh, wow.
And so I printed out some of the information in Braille, and the idea was that you print it out in Braille, and then you take glue and you put it on the dots to make it raise.
Oh, interesting.
And so I've spent the last week with glue.
Yes.
Because it's been hard to find the glue that I need. Like, Elmer's glue got too flat. You could feel it. I tried wood glue. That was too pointy. I used like a jewel glue that you glue jewels onto fabric, and that made it was like perfect, but it was sticky.
Okay.
And so like I've just been experimenting with all these glues, and then last night we had a Seeing Eye event, and I was asking people to feel the thing. I don't really know anything about Braille. I know what it is, and I've touched it, but I don't read Braille, and so it ended up someone in our dog club actually studied Braille and has a Braille typewriter, and she's like, you just send me the stuff and I will type it out for you.
Isn't that a nice way to do it? Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, so anyway, I just thought it was cool. We're having a meeting coming up with the Lehigh Valley Coalition for the Blind to hopefully partner with them for different presentations. And so I feel like, you know what, it would be really cool if people who were, didn't glue that one on yet. If people who were blind could actually read the poster as well. So I don't know that I'm going to do all of it, but I might do the captions for the pictures.
That's cool. And your doggy's almost done with his time, isn't he?
He is. So anyway, so this is really what I've been working on in the last few days, is trying to make it fancy pants and
well, it's
doing
very
the
much
Braille
like
font.
scrapbooking.
It is like scrapbooking. The other thing too, that if you look at this caption at the bottom here, this is Frank Morris, who was the first person, and you can see this huge blue caption here for the photo. Let me pull this down again so you can see it. So he had the first guide dog in the United States.
Okay.
So it's an interesting exercise in realizing how people who are visually impaired look at photos.
Oh, okay.
Because if they have a computer that talks to them, you have to describe the photo.
Oh, yes.
So the caption down there is very long because I describe not only what the caption is that I wrote that a sighted person will read, but what is the photo.
Okay. That's
and
neat.
so
my husband has a picture of it so everybody can read it.
Yeah, and so my husband, being in web development, he's been working on that to make things accessible. And so he was talking about, and in his research, you have to tell people what it is without editorializing.
Oh, very
Which is interesting, you know, because what you interpret from the photo is like, and in the picture, Frank has his hand over the dog.
Yes.
So you probably want to say that, but you want to, like, you don't want to say he's lovingly draped over the dog, or, like, because that's your interpretation. Yes. And so it's interesting that you have to just, like, give the information, what is the photo, and that person has to interpret that from the words.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, so anyway.
Very cool.
That's what I've been working on. How about you?
Well, I'll show you.
We can move
let's
this over.
get this back up again. Here's your photos on the
floor. I'm just gluing everybody on.
There you go.
I just kind of did a rough layout first.
Well, I've been working on out of my scraps and kind of just to put my part in the stash along because, you know, we might as well at least say we've been working.
Oh, yes.
I got my second hexagon done for the Persian Dreams blanket.
Where's your first one? I want to see it with the first one.
It's over there. Hold on.
Time out while Julia runs quickly and hopefully doesn't kick the camera over. Because I forgot what the first one looked like, and so I was thinking it was the same one.
No, it's different. There's the first one, and here's the second.
Oh, it's a different color
too.
It's
the first one's gray and off-white, and the second one is light green and off-white, and it's got a little more of a florally look to it. It's lovely with the strings hanging down.
I feel like a hippie.
There's been a lot of that going around lately. I've been thinking a lot about that for some reason. Anyway, so they're a little bit different, and all of mine.
This one looks very intricate.
Yeah, it had a lot more detail than I expected it to. It's not quite as geometric, I guess, is the way I should put it.
That one looks lacy.
Yeah, but so they're all going to be the same background, but have different foreground colors, and they're all going to be relatively neutral. But
so the next one is going to be a different color.
Yeah, or a combination of, because you can also do it in circles of color, which is really how it's written, because it's supposed to look like a Persian rug. But I didn't want to invest that much money in all the colors, so I'm just using what I've got first. And I figured this way, because it's going to be kind of crazy with all of the patterns.
Oh, right.
For all the patterns and all the colors, this would probably...
Yeah, you have to really embrace that.
Yeah, and it would probably end up in a closet because nothing in our house is like that. You know,
and if it gives you a seizure when you look at it, it's not really helpful.
No, I don't think it'll be that bad, but I want to be able to use this, and I think that having a little more neutral, even if I use it for a wall hanging or something down the road, that will lend itself better in our aesthetic.
So how are you going to make it flat? Because right now it seems almost like, that's what I put on my head.
Yeah, they do.
It seems conical.
They do kind of buckle a little bit. I've blocked them lightly, but ultimately once they're sewn together, I'm going to lie it down and pin it and pull the heck out of it. So it's going to be, you know, I'm going to really, really yank it flat.
So it might still be a little poof in the middle
Maybe,
here.
right.
Like if you were doing like a granny square,
Yeah.
they have a...
So see, here you hold 2 or 3 corners and I'll hold 2 or 3. And if we pull them all in opposite directions, it will
Oh, it'll flatten.
stretch out more. So,
There
ta-da!
you go.
Yeah, but this one I had leftover of the DK weight of the off-white, so I used that, and technically I wasn't supposed to because it's supposed to be all fingering weight, but so it's a little bit puffier, and I think it looks a little bit puffier if you hold the two next to each other. Can you
Right,
see?
it does.
Just a little
Yes.
bit. But this is the fingering weight, and so that I'm happier with. I think that the stitches are more even in this one, and the back looks really cool again. I love the back.
I
As
know,
much
the
as
back
front.
is as beautiful as the front on all of these.
It's just kind of fun. So there's 2 of those done, and then I was working on this last time I showed you guys. I had it just started. This is very long too, but I ended up going with a kind of a, I don't know what do you call this, a burgundy, and then a royal
Merlot.
and a sea blue Merlot. That's a good one. Yeah, that kind of came. I pulled the colors out of here to finish it off. So it's a color block shawlette scarf kind of thing. I don't know, it's not wide enough to be a shawl. It's not straight enough to be a scarf. So I don't know. What is it?
Scarlette.
A scarlette. There you go. I don't know.
With
But
a
anyway,
shawl and a scarf or a scarf.
a scarf. That sounds too much like other things.
I knew someone once with that last name.
Scarf?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess that could be.
I think a scarlet is better.
Scarlet. Well, anyway, one way or another, here it is, and
It was coined here first, folks. A scarlet. Not to be mixed up with Scarlett Johansson.
right, or O'Hara, or whoever, right,
The letter.
right. Yes. But so this is version 1 of 3, and I have version 2 on the needles, and this is written up, and I need testers. If anybody wants to test, you can.
Fun.
You can send me a message for the 3 versions, and then they'll be headed out. But this is a really good stash buster. I had, a full 50-gram ball and just parts, and it was enough to make a really long, comfy, cozy thing.
It does. I like the way it looks when it wraps because you have all the colors coming together
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah, I liked that. This is the version 2 prototype in just a very, very tonal one, and I wanted to see what this would be like too, to use just one color. And so far, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
But this yarn, I did actually reclaim it from another project that I wasn't happy with, so it needs to be blocked.
See, your projects are like multimedia. Just because you use yarn, but you use different weights and different colors.
True,
It's not like you're all doing one.
but it's all wool.
That's okay.
It's all wool. Wool is fun. But yeah, so if anybody wants to test these guys for me, let me know and I will hook you up with the pattern. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Anything else you're working
Oh
on?
yeah, actually I keep digging out old projects and trying to finish them off. Like I finished that one sock last time and then I put it down. And I picked up a mostly finished sock that I've had sitting around for a while longer
I like
again.
the colors on that.
Yeah, I'm going through a pink phase, obviously.
Well, it's that time of year when you
Yeah.
wish everything outside looked that color.
yes.
It really looks brown, but you wish there were pink there.
This is Sunset Stitches yarn in the Tonks versus Remus colorway, and that sounds very familiar to me, but I can't figure out where it comes from anymore.
Harry Potter.
Is that it? Okay. So
Tonks
this
versus Remus. Tonks had pink
loves,
hair.
not versus. Tonks loves. It's a heart.
Oh, yeah, because Tonks had pink hair, remember? Because she loved Remus. Remus was the guy that turned into the wolf.
Ah, see, I'm forgetting.
Oh my goodness.
I'm forgetting. But that's the colorway. So
I don't even know why and all of that stuff just spewed out of my
well,
mouth.
so you can explain it because I can't remember. So it must be the pink hair and the wolf color. It must be
Right.
brown wolf. But I'm just doing a little pattern up the back here and down the front, and it's almost done. It needs like 2 more inches. And that'll be done. And next thing you know, I'm going to be wearing a whole bunch of mismatched pairs because I have one sock done from all of them.
That's fun.
But yeah, so that's coming along. And really I've got little things, because I play too much. Like I'll start something and put it down, and start something and put it down.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So, a lot
Keeps
of
you
little things.
interested.
Yeah, and I did a bunch of shop samples last week that are not around to be shown.
You have to come to the shop.
Yes, you can come see me at the Knitter's Edge. So anyway, yeah, that is it.
So we're going to do a stash activity today, right?
We are, yep. We are going to make
Stacktivity. Stashtivity.
Stashtivity. We're going to make, you guys have probably seen these. They were up on Instagram a few months ago, but a friend of mine bought a whole bunch of these little sheep and we put them together at a crafternoon. Yeah. I love the terms that everybody comes up with. And they're just really cute little sheep guys wrapped in wool and are great for using up scraps. So we have lots of little shapes to make today. And we'll show you how to do that.
See what we're going to come up with.
Yeah. So join us for that and we'll see you right back. So I got a bunch of these little sheep guys from my friend. She ordered them from Lantern Moon. And I guess they still have a whole ton of them, but she ordered 100. So we had a lot of sheep lying around. They're
Wow.
You can get llamas and alpacas now too, I think.
Oh, fun.
If you want to do the sheep. And then obviously you can paint them like this little guy. I painted black before I wrapped
that's so
him.
cute.
So-
And I just brought random ones that I had that somebody gave me. Some of them are painted. This cat was attacked by something. But we're going to use some of these as well. So what do we have to do today?
Well, all we really need to do is choose some yarn and wrap it around the figure however you want to. It's pretty straightforward. And this is all like a lot of my crafting yarn. I have a lot that has been around for years and years, and I let the kids use it. This is a really good use for the novelty yarns that were so popular a few years ago, but really nobody knew what to do with. So this makes a great project for that, or old hand spun works very well if you have like your very first hand spun that's too curly to actually knit with. This makes a great use of it. It'll look just like a real sheep.
Yes.
Kind of smell like a real sheep too. So anyway, yeah, we're just gonna kind of dig in and whatever suits your fancy. What are you gonna do first?
I don't know. I'm really interested in trying this turkey with the rainbow yarn.
Oh, fun.
Somebody must have done like a wood burning.
Yeah.
Yes.
The outside is there.
So we just start wherever and just kind of wing it.
Yeah, just
That's
kinda
my
go with
kind of
it.
craft when you wing it.
I've never seen a furry dinosaur before, but
Oh, I think that you should go for it and try that.
let's see. What color would a furry dinosaur
So
be?
should I just wrap this randomly or should I try and line these up in a certain way?
You know, I found with the sheep that I would kind of start in rows and then I would fill in as I go. And sometimes, like the thicker yarn will lie differently than a thinner yarn will. So that kind
Crafting is so punny.
yeah. Oops, we're all tangled here. Woo. So I don't know. I think it's just kind of whatever floats your boat. Nothing really too scientific about this activity.
Just fun way to use scraps.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? As long as we're doing this, because this doesn't take a whole lot of brain power, I forgot to mention earlier that I was looking for them. I had some scraps from my sweater. I think they're in the bottom of the box here. But this was my very first sweater. And I was going to tell you guys about it. So,
Right, because a lot of people ask about how long things hold up when you knit them.
right. Yeah, this was back, I made it probably 11 years ago now. And it's made from Lamb's Pride worsted. It's a single ply. So honestly, I think I must have knit it like in cast iron because it's really dense. It doesn't go very far because normally a single ply would pill a lot more, and this one has not. It's actually held up very well. The pattern is called Samus, S-A-M-U-S.
So you still remember that after 11 years what the pattern name was?
I spent a long time with this pattern. There was, somebody had done what they called the Knitters Olympics or the knit, I can't remember anymore, Knit Olympics. It was part of like something to work on while you watched games, basically. And this was my project back in 2004
Whenever there were Olympics?
or 5. It was the Winter Olympics.
Olympics were always on even years.
So it must have been 6. I don't remember. Anyway, I had never made a real sweater before. Well, I had, but none that actually fit. I've always messed up on the gauge or something. So this was I sat down and I said, I'm going to make a real sweater and I'm going to make it look good and it's going to fit. And it starts with, I'll have to stand up. It starts with this cabled edge here. And you make the cabled edge, and then you pick up and you go up from there, and then you do the same thing with the sleeves and attach them. And it was like a labor of love. And I sat there every day watching the Olympics with the baby, because she was little then. Whenever she was napping, I'd work on this, and it turned out it was supposed to have a zipper, and I put a facing on, but I never did attach the zipper. So now it just has like a fakey rolled edge there that kind of works.
Yeah, I like it.
Doesn't bother me much. And it's very warm. This is the kind of thing you can only wear in the dead of winter because it's really, really thick. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one for as long as it's been around.
We have the Olympics coming up this year in Rio, the Summer Olympics.
Oh, is it?
We will have to do an Olympic craft along.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that a couple years ago, the official knitting or Olympics people got upset that the name was being used.
Oh,
and so it is
right.
no longer called that, but I'm pretty sure that there's some kind of organized event.
Thing.
Relatively
But people call
organized
everything
event.
the Olympics.
I know. Maybe because it was like, I don't know,
I
a million
think,
people.
I think I remember hearing that too. Is
Yeah.
that because it has a special connotation. You know, they have standards and
Right.
all that. What do you think of my turkey?
Oh, that's fun.
So what do I do if I think I'm done?
Well, you
The
just-
problem with this is like the way the bumps
Yeah.
are. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could take a little saw. I should have taken a saw
Yeah, you could
first
narrow
and
it
make a
off.
notch. But
That's kind of what I've done with the dinosaur. Just the yarn's going into the,
the notches.
yeah. Though I'm not, like I wanted it to kind of be a little more full, actually. I don't know, I think your turkey looks good though. You could keep wrapping a little bit more up there or put a dot of glue on or something if you wanted it to stay.
So when I think that I am finished,
Yeah, that was a project that never got completed, but the needles are still on it, so
I'm totally.
maybe I should have taken the needles off before I gave you that yarn.
I think I could.
Oh goodness.
I was multi-limbing it. So do I have to glue it then, or what do I do when I'm done?
I guess you could glue it. I did not with mine. I just tucked the end in really good and assumed it would stay there because I'm not going to be, once I get these
Wearing
done,
it?
they're just going to be somewhere. They're going to be sitting still.
Right.
So, I guess if you were going to use it as a
Decoration on a package or something.
Yeah, a small one you could probably drill a little hole in and attach it to a package or hang it from your Christmas tree or something like that. And so over time you might want to glue, but I don't think that's hugely necessary. I kind of like this now.
That's fun.
It's very.
I feel like you should do like a pom-pom thing up here where that would have stuck out.
little
you know?
pom-poms across the top.
There's something
that's
like
funny.
that. Oh wait, where's that other one that has the pom-poms in it?
Oh, I didn't bring it out. This is my box. Oh, giant scraps that eventually you can't ever detach the yarn. So we're just gonna pull in what comes out. It's in there somewhere.
But you could have put the pom-poms along the top and then wrap it around
Yeah,
the
that
pom-poms.
could have been fun.
Uh-oh, your yarn
It's
just
gone.
ran away. Here's my turkey.
Oh, cute.
That
That's
is
fun.
pretty cute.
That is fun.
I might have to try. Oh, look at this. I might have to try this on maybe a
Eyelash.
juice or something.
Yeah. So this is kind of fun. Just a nice little way to, spend some time, craft away, and it makes a neat adornment for things. And it definitely does use up your scrap yarn. So if you guys have made any of these, so I think some people bought the sheep and were making their own. If anybody's made the sheep, I'd like to see them. I think they're cute.
They are. This one's going to take a while because this yarn is really thin.
Yeah, it is very thin.
Although, I'm thinking you could do layers of different kinds.
You could actually. I didn't think about that. I did all mine the same kind. But yeah, obviously a thinner yarn is going to take a lot longer than a thicker yarn will. Wool. I did it again.
Ah!
A thicker yarn will.
We'll get to that soon.
Oh my.
Wool.
Yes. So.
Funny.
Well, from all of us
That
here
is
at A Whole Lot of Craft, we hope you guys have a great day.
Yes, and use up those stashes. Join our stash along
Yes.
on Ravelry.
We got a couple people have posted
Let us know
projects
what
already.
you've been working on.
Yeah, and we'll be doing the drawing for the stash along on March 12th. So I don't care when you guys started your project, just finish it by the 12th and post a picture in the Ravelry board. Whole Lot of Craft Ravelry group. And if you can't find it, it'll be linked in the show notes at awholelotofcraft.com. And that's about it for today.
Wow, this is just little pieces.
Oh, is it? Oh, I bet something.
Ate it.
Yeah.
That's okay. I can still use the little pieces.
Sometimes when you stick things in your attic. All right, folks. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting, happy crafting.
And have a great day. Bye.
Here we go. Now I have a longer piece.
Looks like he's wearing a gaiter or something. A little scarf.
That's funny.
He's been shorn.